Hello there. Welcome to another thrilling episode of LIFELAB podcast. At LIFELAB, we believe life is a lab. In our previous episode, we talked about identity crisis, and I left a question with the audience. Do you think you can still battle with identity crisis even after discovering yourself? And in this episode, we're going to be talking about that particular question and also what are the factors influencing identity crisis? How can you even overcome identity crisis? All of these are what we're going to be talking about in this particular episode. And of course, I still have my guests with me in the studio. I have my wonderful co-host.
Hi, Glorious.
Hello, Hewa. How are you doing today? Are you ready for the show?
Already they worry me.
You know, this topic, as much as it's broad, it's still,
Nah,
it's so relatable because at one point or the other,
everybody
we all have
faced
gone through identity crisis. So I just want us to, talk about our personal experiences.
Yes, definitely. I feel our guest would do honors to that.
So who should we start with?
From the news.
So, walk us through your personal experiences about identity crisis.
Yeah. Okay. I remember I mentioned my journey as an undergraduate student walking into uni in 100 level and, not being sure of what is going on, what's up in. Okay, I was very, very playful, very playful. And it's quite obvious.
Well, what do you mean?
I was very playful, so I met with guys that were of the same like minds, and
Playful game.
yes, we actually played together and played away the results. First semester.
I love the fact that you're being honest. Let's say we play with this semester.
We played away the semester, and it was, it wasn't really funny. That was first semester. The second semester, and other playing away. Then 200 level, I just had to, because I was getting it hot at home. It seems like this education thing is not meant for you. Come on. So I just had to.
That what you just said now is part of identity crisis.
Of course.
Because they just told him that education is not for him. Now, guess who is a graduate? Oh,
Still on that part. But it wasn't really easy actually because it wasn't really easy because I think what actually affected me the most was trying to balance a lot of things. So I couldn't balance playing and studying.
you like to play, girl.
Actually, so it was towards the end of the whole undergraduate journey. I just had to, because I had to be serious. Projects here and there.
Told yourself that.
Yeah, I had to because I already felt the heat outside already, the outside world, trying to do internships and all of those things. So I knew that the streets was not smiling. So I just had to, so that is also how it has been for me. And trying to discover myself after that, then it has been a journey because the journey is still on up until now. So, and it's just been a very smooth ride and a whole lot of roller coaster of one or two things, but thank God. Yeah.
So I think I would love to hear how you were able to, overcome that situation. But before we do that, I want to hear from Faye too.
Very sincere.
Okay.
I had something similar. I have a similar story.
Oh, you said you were playful.
See, I was just all over the place during my own time.
Wonderful.
And it was in 100 level also.
So I think it's just undergraduate thing.
See, we came in with, this is more. But then continue. Let me interrupt you. We came in with this, what was there? Abby, freedom.
That freedom part, please.
Let's be all over. So I remember that time my first semester result came out. We calculated what we calculated then. Oh boy. It's not like, wait, 3.2. It's like, calm down now. Now we calculate out.
Don't like
We start. See, we calculated it ourselves. So, not anything. Divide it. Good. 3.2, I was still consoling myself. You are still doing well. I never advised her just called us one day. I want to teach you people how to calculate GP.
Your GP.
When this man started cutting the thing, he was just cutting far, sir, far.
You don't do.
See, when he aggregated everything, the cumulative was like, boy. Maybe you come and do something else. I remember that night, I got to my hostel and I called my mom because I could not call my dad. How will you even explain? That's so school, they paid school fees. I just called my mom. Yeah, I think I'm thinking of Agri-Edu. Yeah, I think I'm thinking of doing something else, maybe library and information science. I was like, library care. I shout to that I became Dagbe. It's also a good livelihood. So I remember then, that was one of the places the influence of parent came in. Don't worry. Just sit tight, you can do it as long as you believe in yourself. I think the encouragement just spiked something up in me. And I remember that my second, and the funniest thing was that it was in the middle of the second semester of 100 level, they gave us our results. You know how our own unit can be. So I remember that time and I buckled up for the second semester, and by the grace of God, things changed.
Wow.
So, but the fact was that the identity crisis I was about to have then, they did not allow it to come out.
To come out.
So you get.
Okay, so before you go on, let me ask Ian this. Yeah.
Parental influence. That's a good one.
So at what point, okay, now that you're an adult, or maybe your late 20s or 30s, now that you're an adult, what is that one thing you think you've achieved? And by the time you take a good look at yourself now, and you feel like, man, this is not me. It is not aligning with who you are personally.
You come a long way. Like you come a long way.
Yeah.
From where I'm talking about. Okay. You said.
No. Okay. The question is to Ian.
I know. I'm just.
Okay. You're trying to. Okay.
I'm with you.
So Ian, the question is, now that you're in your late 20s or early 30s, looking at your adult life, looking at it, and looking at what you've achieved, do you think everything you've achieved aligns with who you are presently? Okay. I don't know if you get my question.
Yes, I do.
With the little achievements, because I'm just scratching the surface.
Oh, you've achieved a lot.
No, this will be on this podcast. You've achieved a lot. I'm still scratching the surface, actually. Yeah. So, yes, to an extent, it has actually resonated with my identity. But the little achievements that's okay, just this, it has actually helped. And counsel too was actually a boost for me too. Then God. So, exactly.
So I even want to take it from that part where Faye said parental influence helped him not to fall into identity crisis. So in the case of Iyanu, whereby his parents told him education is not for you. So as a person, how do we overcome that pressure? Because I want to believe parents also contribute to identity crisis. Let's be very honest. Like,
sure,
you're very lucky to have parents tell you, "Oh, this is not the end of the world. You can still do this." How about people out there that their parents are telling them, "Oh, so this is all you could do," or this
question is for you.
Do you get? The question is actually for Faye, because you're coming from the angle of I didn't really fall into identity crisis thanks to my parents, but he did, right? So for people going through the situation whereby parents are the ones painting the identity that they are not, how do you overcome that? How do you eradicate that pressure as a person?
You see, it comes to that question. I'd like to talk about a friend I have. Now his parents, the pressure they put on him is their retirement plan. So on a normal day, normally parents are supposed to take up their responsibility, and whatever comes from the kids, of course, you can take care of your parents is also a good thing. But the parents themselves, you have a role to play in the life of your kids. But these ones, they make him understand day by day, face this, so you know that we are growing old doing this, and it gets to the boy's head and it affects his performance. I think one of the ways he shot those things out was when the new set of people he surrounded himself with. I think that really changed his mind. So that could come in as also, should I say, counseling, the environment, people around you. Guy, don't worry, you could do well. Guy, you are doing good. You understand the encouragement coming from people outside the family. So if he had had something, let me say, someone like his parent or his family outside, also, it could create another setback and it could let him run into deeper. You understand? Like maybe the anxiety might go deeper and it might lead to depression. So I think those things, the people he surrounded himself with, so that's one of the life examples I can see.
How were you able to handle
the situation,
the whole pressure from you?
especially when you were told education is not.
Okay, the thing is this. That statement came, but coming from those that actually gave birth to me, it wasn't. They didn't really mean it.
They didn't come from
That
you,
contest,
so-
yeah, they didn't mean it that way. Now, because I came from a background that they are just very, very blunt. Lets you know everything is just right there and then. But the intentions are very, very, very good.
But this
So-
got to you.
He got to me, actually. He got to me, and I was able to, balance things up. I was just lucky. God just did it and just made it happen, because a lot of people could not redeem time.
yeah.
A lot of things happen to such people, other people, and they still got their fingers burnt at the end of the day. Even up until now, they have not been able to recover from that. But then I thank God for the grace that He has given to me, that I was able to, get a lot of things back. And I'm still grateful for my parents, because they were always there, even in as much as they let me know that, oh, guy, you messed up
So,
and this is it. But then it was just a boost for me that, okay, I can still do it. Then counsels also actually helped me. And I knew that the world I was entering was not going to be funny. And here we go. Thank God.
that's a very good one. That's a very. I mean, it's a great testimony. Now, you said something about you having your fellow guys, your playful fellow guys.
Yeah.
Now, when you were discovering who you are, has there been any point where you had to leave them behind? Because now I want us to talk about how to move away from identity crisis. Are there things you must leave behind?
Sorry, before you answer that question, I have this question to chip in before you answer that. Now, to the two of you, has there been any point in time, I believe you are identified with God, like you said in the backstage. And now, my question to the two of you now is, has there been any point in time whereby your God's given identity clashes with the social, the cultural identity?
Yes, it has, because what God is going to give to you may not make sense at the beginning. It may not make sense. You might just have to fight it. But in the process, you just have to, okay, it's God. And in the process of trying to resist, sometimes you may get your fingers burnt on the other way around. So you just have to listen to Him.
How are you able to manage the two? Sometimes, so God-given purpose, God-given purpose sometimes warrants you to do so many things. Sometimes you just have to do it. Stay away from some things.
Exactly.
And with the kind of people we have around, the kind of people, the friends you move with, the society itself, there's a way it's been positioned that whatever you do is against the God-given purpose. So how are you able to manage? Because it's a crisis.
It is.
So how are you able to manage? Because a whole lot of people are going through. Yes, through
The
this.
crisis.
What God says about anything is not it can be twisted.
Yes, definitely.
It just has to stand. So, like I said, it may not make sense at the beginning, but in the process, and you finding God yourself, actually, you being calm to be able to listen when He speaks is very, very important, because we're in a society now, just like you are saying, we have culture and there's noise everywhere. So it only takes the grace of God for you to be able to set yourself apart.
We really have anything to contribute.
For Him to speak, and when He speaks, you listen and you're not confused.
No.
Of course. Regarding the question you said about how you separated the friends you had, right? If I asked the question about how are you able to manage God-given purpose and social, the cultural influence. I don't know if you get
I understand. Okay, now I get it. You see, the thing is, of course, the fact is that your God-given purpose might at times clash with the things that happens in your environment. You get, especially if you are the kind of person that are very social in class, for instance, or social in among communities.
Yeah.
They would offer you some things, and the moment you say you turn it down, that this goes against my faith.
Being labeled.
You are labeled or Jesus. So it now boils down to you. I choose to accept this because it is my relationship with God, and this is the identity I choose to accept.
If that relationship, yes, we know that for those who work with God, they always enjoy the fruit and the favor of God.
Of course.
But as at that point in time, if you're in earnest to get something, and because you're labeled with Omo Jesu ni o, don't let us get him involved. How do you feel?
Anything you try to do that wants to push away God from your life is not worth doing. As I see it. So at the end of the day, if the devil tests you with good things, definitely. So the fact that it goes against the will of God is the fact that you should not even go close to it and keep it at that. That even preserves your dignity.
Well, that's a lot.
It's indeed valid. And I love the fact that you said whatever thing that is keeping you away from God is not worth doing. Now back to the question I asked earlier.
Very sorry.
While you're trying to, figure out who you are, what are the things you are expected to do as an individual? Now we've talked about the factors contributing to identity crisis. Now I know I have identity crisis, and I am willing to come out of this cage.
Do you have identity crisis?
I know, yes.
I was just on it like that.
I know it gets. And I know we'll get. But to be very honest, everybody has some sort of the other. We all experience things.
So I was just
I just had identity crisis, and it's nothing to be, ashamed of.
Yes.
It's the truth.
Yeah.
In fact, if you don't have identity crisis, I'm not sure you'll be able to identify yourself.
You don't have a balanced group.
I want to believe that you
need to have a problem. You need to have a problem to have a solution.
to have a solution.
Have a balanced group.
The thing is that I don't want to go there. I don't want to go there. But then go ahead with your question. Maybe we'll come back
I
to
don't
that.
want to even. No, you've allowed me a time to that. Right?
No.
Remember Jesus in the Bible, right?
Oh my goodness.
Jesus started his ministry at the age of 33. But before that, he was already doing something.
Yeah.
Yes or yes?
Yeah.
He was.
It was, right? But God said, okay, this time, I think he died at the age of 33.
Died at the age of
30. Because
He said at
Jesus-
30. Sorry.
He's,
Even we say about 30.
can you imagine? Bible scholars, you people, they
No,
so Jesus died at the age of 33.
Yeah.
But he started his ministry at the age of 30.
Yeah.
But before that, he was already doing something. Not until God said, now this is the right time. So I want to believe that sometimes identity crisis also prepares us ahead for our identity in Christ. But let's not push further. Back to my question.
I would say I disagree with you, but then
Let's move on with the question.
You're allowed to disagree.
Move on with your question, man.
Viewers at home, if you don't agree with what I'm saying, it's fine. All we need to do, we are here to learn together.
Actually.
So it's totally fine. But do not be brutal about your opinion, okay? I'm not going to take that. But that was just an enlightenment. So back to the question. I know I'm having identity crisis and I am willing to come out of it. What are the things I need to do as an individual?
Yeah. You have to come to yourself first.
I should what?
Come to yourself.
You have to come to yourself.
How do I do that?
How you come to yourself is the place of that's when you are sacred. So I'm trying to look for the word now. That's the place of sanctification.
Sanctification.
Exactly. So in the place of sanctification, you know, you set yourself apart. You come to yourself knowing that, who am I? You ask that question, who am I? Then you go to God in prayer.
Wait, sorry to cut you short. Someone is battling with identity crisis. And then one of the steps to come out of it is to ask yourself, who are you?
Yes.
Like, I'm not seeing any correlation there.
Wait.
I don't know who I am. That's why I'm dealing with the identity crisis.
It will get to you to a point. It go hit you. Which one?
Like that one. I don't
It go hit you. Which one points that you have to now sit down and ask yourself, who am I?
Now I get that's why explanation.
So which is what you don't do it. Exactly. Before you go deeper into answering our question, I want to draw something out. For someone who to not believe in God, because you're talking about a place of sanctification. For someone who happens not to believe in God,
or doesn't even know God,
doesn't know Christ, doesn't have a religion he or she is practicing, how do they, because you talked about sanctification and then you talk to God, how do you expect this person who does not believe in God
or does not even know Him,
does not know Christ, doesn't know God, how do you expect them to? And because now we're talking about having this podcast is not just for the Christian community.
Nah,
it's for everybody.
It's for everybody.
Do you understand? So I want you to answer this question like you're talking to everybody, irrespective of their religion.